Good evening and welcome to the main news, broadcasting live from our Montreal studios here in Bulawayo. My name is Doreen Lube, Nopumongwa, interpreting the bulletin in sign language. And for the stories making the headlines tonight. Government assures the nation of food security with a surplus of over 900,000 tons of grain projected. Legislators review the 2026 monetary policy. Debutants Hard Rock FC host Highlanders in high-stakes Kwekwe clash tomorrow. That and more in sports. And now for the news in detail. As part of Culture Month celebrations, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has led cabinet ministers in wearing the national fabric during this Tuesday's cabinet meeting, underscoring the importance of preserving culture. The entire cabinet will continue to wear the national fabric throughout this month's meetings.
The decision by the President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, and cabinet members to wear Zimbabwe's national fabric during cabinet sittings throughout Culture Month will also culminate in the broader continental celebrations of Africa Day on May 25. The development reflects the government's commitment to promoting Zimbabwean identity, heritage, unity, and cultural pride through the preservation and celebration of indigenous traditions, values, and artistic expression. Zimbabwe's national fabric is a specially designed cloth that embodies the country's history, values, aspirations, and national identity. Culture Month, observed annually in May, is a national program dedicated to celebrating Zimbabwe's diverse cultural heritage, with commemorations being spearheaded by the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe. This year's National Culture Month main celebrations will be held in Bulawayo Metropolitan Province on the 21st of this month at Barberfields Stadium and will be presided over by President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa under the theme Creativity and Diversity, Advancing Vision 2030 through Cultural Expressions. According to the Acting Minister of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Professor Paul Mavima, this theme speaks directly to the central role of culture as both a unifying force and a driver of socio-economic transformation. Activities to be held during the period include traditional dance performances, exhibitions, language preservation programs, culinary showcases, musical festivals, poetry, and visual arts displays. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Cabinet says the country's food security outlook is positive, with a surplus of over 900,000 tons of grain projected. This comes after government conducted the second round of crops, livestock and fisheries assessment.
The 14th post-cabinet media briefing touched on a number of issues, with the major one being the second crop assessment report, which reviewed a positive food security of between 500,000 tons to 900,000 tons.
Based on the second round of crops, livestock and fisheries assessment report, Cabinet noted with satisfaction that the food security outlook for the country is generally positive. The projections indicate that Zimbabwe stands to realize a surplus strategic grain reserve ranging between 550,945 metric tons and 964,000 metric tons. Currently, government stocks held at the Grain Marketing Board as at the 6th of May 2026 stand at 155,210 metric tons, comprising maize 36,593 metric tons, white sorghum 1,614 metric tons, red sorghum 13,000 metric tons, pearl millet and rapoko 1,100 95 metric tons. Strategic grain wheat, 102,740 metric tons. Additionally, the Grain Marketing Board also holds a total of 62,165 metric tons, being third-party grain stocks for off-take companies. As at the 11th of May 2026, the Grain Marketing Board had settled over 95% of its obligations for grain purchases.
The 46th Independence Celebrations Legacy projects are at various stages of completion, while some of the major projects have already been completed.
The significant component of the preparations involved the execution of legacy projects as follows: the construction of the new Mapisa Stadium, which is 98% complete, the delivery of equipment for the JMN Nkomo Polytechnic Economics Block, whose superstructure was completed, the completion of the NCISA registry, which is 98% complete, the upgrading of the Maheche Primary School, 98% complete, the construction of 40 science laboratories, which are at 85% in terms of completion, and the upgrading of the Minda High School, which is 92% complete. The upgrading of the Shashane Adventist High School, 100% complete. The upgrading of the Kezi Primary School, 100% complete. The construction of the Isizinda Cultural Center, 85% complete. And the construction of the JMN Nkomo Youth Service and Vocational Training Center, which is at 66% in terms of completion.
In 2027, Masvingo Province will host the independence celebrations.
In line with the already announced next venue selection criteria and devolution agenda, Masvingo Province will host the 2027 47th Independence Anniversary celebration. The subsequent independence celebrations hosting sequence will be as follows. For Masvingo Province in the year 2027, Matabeleland North in 2028, Mashonaland East in 2029, Mashonaland West Province in 2030, Harare Metropolitan Province in 2031, Bulawayo Metropolitan Province in 2032, Mashonaland Central Province in 2033, Manicaland Province in 2034, and Midlands Province in 2035.
The obtaining prices of tobacco at the auction floors as well as that at the contract floors is a cause for concern for government, which has seen the volumes increasing by 35% while prices are tumbling by 24%.
The global supply has moved faster than global consumption, and the stock levels have begun to build up, and we see this reflected in the downward pricing and payment for farmers. That is not comfort for anyone, certainly not comfort for farmers.
As government continues to push for the value addition and beneficiation within the mining sector, they have issued 6 mining companies with export quotas to ensure that they have ample time to construct value addition plants by January 2027.
We did not give export quotas for raw minerals or materials, but the quotas were only for the big 6 large lithium producers only, who were approved to build lithium concentrate facilities by government in between 2020 and 2025. So they made some commitments that come 1 January 2027, they would have built lithium sulfate plants or any other salts, which may include lithium carbonate and so forth.
Cabinet also deliberated on the forthcoming African Union Skills Conference set to be hosted in October this year. The strides that have been made towards the securing of the United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat was also discussed during cabinet meetings. Bruce Jawanda, SABC News, Harare.
Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga joined several African leaders in Kampala, Uganda this Tuesday for the inauguration ceremony of President Yoweri Museveni.
A unique drone display that offered a beautiful picture ski of the Ugandan capital Kampala set the prelude to the inauguration ceremony of President-elect His Excellency Yoweri Museveni this Tuesday. As night gave way to daylight, the air drills continued above the Kampala skies in honor of the swearing-in ceremony. On the occasion of the inauguration and swearing-in ceremony of President Yoweri Museveni here in Kampala at the Kololo Independence Grounds, Africa once again presented a united force as they came to support Uganda on this momentous occasion. Now, at least 30 countries were in attendance, including Zimbabwe, which was represented by Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, who came here on behalf of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. And Zimbabwe's presence here attested to the values and principles as enshrined in the African Union, which states that African states should demonstrate solidarity, especially in moments like this. And the overall message that was presented by President Yoweri Museveni resonated with this aspect, calling for a united Africa going forward, and also emphasizing on value addition to improve the economic prospects for the African continent.
Africa is 4 times the land area of the USA and 12 times the land area of India, with a present population of 1.5 billion people. That will be 2.5 billion in the next 30 years. Yet our total GDP is only US dollars 3.6 trillion, while that of the USA is US dollars 32 trillion, China 20.65 trillion, India USD 4.18 trillion. This hemorrhage must stop.
After the swearing-in and inauguration of President Yoweri Museveni, we sat down with Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga to understand exactly how this occasion resonates with the African values and principles as outlined in the African Union.
We do go to member states of the AU when they have such ceremonies, like especially inauguration after their elections, to see the level of advancement a country would have achieved, and as we would have achieved as African countries. Because remember, we had our the AU from OAU has been developing since 1963 when it was formed. And each period of time, they gave themselves objectives to meet, principles to meet. And this is what we also learn as Zimbabwe, to see what other countries have achieved, and to learn from the way they might have done their things.
Essentially, this was also an opportunity for the two nations to further strengthen the deep fraternal ties sustained over many years. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Kampala.
Analysts say government's policy measure compelling gold producers to pay royalties in the physical commodity is paying off, as gold reserves have risen by over 300% to more than 4 tons in just 2 years. The development has been credited for strengthening the local ZiG currency.
Under the Second Republic, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has abandoned quasi-fiscal activities which in the past used to destabilize the economy, and marked a return to core central banking functions, which include the accumulation of gold reserves to create a sustainable import cover, and in case of Zimbabwe, to generate sufficient reserves
to support the local Zimbabwe gold currency. When President Emmerson Mnangagwa toured the gold vaults at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe this Monday, it was a demonstration of yet another successful policy shift, where gold reserves have risen from about 1.5 tons in April 2024 to more than 4.4 tons as of this Monday.
We used to have 3 weeks import cover for many years, in some cases going to 2 weeks. But now we are standing with 1.5 month import cover within 2 years. We've been able to build a momentous increase, which has never happened before. At this pace, we could actually meet the minimum requirement in terms of foreign currency required to cover our ZiG to introduce a monocurrency in the next 2 years.
Economists Marlon Gwadu and the Persistence Gwanyanya noted that there is now assurance of the capacity of the central bank to buy all the ZiG in circulation by more than 6 times, which speaks to the extent of how the local currency is sufficiently backed.
We are gradually building towards being able to meet the condition precedent of having 6 months import cover, so that Zimbabwe gradually accepts the monocurrency as the sole legal tender for Zimbabwe. And most importantly, these are audited reserves that are currently prevalent and that are currently disclosed. So it's an assurance building mechanism for the economy that the ZiG is not just a free floating currency, but it's a gold-backed currency.
The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the reserve accumulation strategy, is seen as an economically viable strategy to support durable or permanent stability of our domestic currency.
At 4.4 tons of gold, Zimbabwe is now ranking number 11 on the African continent in terms of the highest value of gold reserves held at a central bank. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Sunday night turned into an all-women celebration as over 800 women from across Zimbabwe came together for a stylish bush dinner at the stunning Baradzwana Cultural Village in Mazowe, marking Mother's Day with elegance and gratitude. Women from across Zimbabwe marked Mother's Day with elegance and gratitude at a special Mother's Day dinner coordinated by the Ministry of Tourism and Hospitality Industry at the weekend. The event was oversubscribed with over 800 women in attendance. The colorful and oversubscribed event held at the magnificent Baradzwana Cultural Village in Mazowe brought together women from all walks of life for an evening of recognition, cultural expression and fellowship. The bush dinner experience was a celebration of love, culture and connection. Even the elderly were part of the show. Held under a festive atmosphere, the dinner honored mothers for their role in building families, communities and the nation. Guests arrived in colorful outfits, turning the venue into a vibrant display of Zimbabwean culture and style. Speaking at the event, Guest of Honor, Tourism and Hospitality Minister, Honorable Barbara Rhodes, said the dinner was a deliberate gesture to appreciate women's contributions beyond the workplace and home. She said it was to celebrate leadership and resilience mothers show in every sector.
Pano panonzi pabaradzanwa ndakutaurawo saMinister of Tourism ndepedu pano isive tourism. Farai musungunuke ndimi makazvara varume vese vari mukati menyika yedu. Toita hedu mufaro wedu, mufaro wemunhukadzi anoziva tsika nemagariro dzatinorayirwa naFirst Lady.
Minister Rhodes added that the event also offered women a platform to experience domestic tourism through the Baradzwana Cultural Village, a new establishment by the ministry. Attendees were over the moon. They described the dinner as a rare opportunity to pause, connect and celebrate each other in a relaxed setting.
Ndauya nhasi pano nemufaro mukuru chaizvo nezuva ramaitikira reMother's Day. Nzvimbo yatiri ino iyi tiri kunzwa kunakirwa, manyukunyuku, moyo uri kuita kufara, tiri kushaya kuti toita sei.
Asati tambosangana nazvo, tinongozoti tinopembererwa nevana vedu nevarume vedu vachititendawo kuti takavaberekera vana. Tasara nechiitiko chiri pano zuva ranhasi. takosheswawo tapuwa nzvimbo yedu sanamai vemuzimbabwe tanakidzwa mutambo wedu watambirwa mudondo tikadya chikafu chechivanhu semadzimai ka zvinhu zvakasati zvakamboitika tarongerwa a good function yaita kuti madzimai ese ange ari pano ende vachinakidzwa vachidya nekumwa tadzidza so many businesses tadzidziswa zvakawanda panapa.
The program also featured live music from Afrofusion star Feli Nandi. Women also showcased style and elegance through a fashion show. Not to be outdone was a dance competition which saw women taking to the dance floor. Those who showed unmatched footworks walked away with prizes. The women were also treated to a traditional meal and a variety of beverages, much to their delight. The event also highlighted the role of tourism and hospitality in creating spaces for celebration and unity. The ministry said it intends to make the Mother's Day dinner an annual fixture. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Mazowe. Wonderful Mother's Day celebrations there from Baradzwana. And now, moving on, government STEM economy initiative is paying dividends, with people from Beitbridge are benefiting from various economic activities brought about by the construction of Jove Dam. While irrigation has been the highlight at water bodies across the country, fishery projects are proving to be a game changer for rural economies.
The establishment of Jove Dam in Beitbridge district continues to promote aquaculture production, allowing rural communities to diversify their sources of income and improve food security.
Developer midini rava na zvifuwo ngakove hedzi dzaJove radova rofata zvakudinga manda midini yacho.
Damu iyi ufato yaite yaone iko ritusa ngamanda ngori rowana mushumani patsini richichidza vana vavirine
saneto ntusanga manda itoma pa 2003 na kolomza 4 and na vana vachiva secondary but ndanisa kwaniso ngava secondary mara musadzwanga ida chihoda apa chitoa chirengana reta more than 6 years kolomza chibvelela musadzwanga chirengisa cover chifunedza mwana muulani avatopedza na degree unayo nazo zvi kakuita mulene muvusotela chitu chamudzinga manda nando shumene pandichilipata.
Jove Fisheries Project leadership highlighted that they have gone beyond supplying the local markets.
Yachatomopatiwa rava na macooperative nga ye 2003 rotomanga machi usvika zvino vamwe vana vavurine vava cheprimary ubva primary uye usvika secondary rova riko wana chelede neparichifundedza vana kusvikira vosvika maform 4.
Damu ili rotomodote yakove nga 2003 rowana zvikepe ubva madhonani ubvapo robona zviko ritusanga manda vana vavorine voya chikoloni anonga sane ndina 23 years ndichikoshuma pano vananga voya chikoloni vanokwanisa ita vo 9 vachifunda pano mudhi wanga ndaufata. The
Second Republic continues to resuscitate old dams and establishing new ones to intensify fish farming within the existing water bodies as the country marches towards Vision 2030. Aifeli Mudau, ZBC News, Beitbridge.
Zimbabwe's healthcare system is strengthening diagnostic services through the adoption of modern technologies to ensure equitable healthcare delivery for all.
Across the country, the shift from analog to digital imaging is addressing long-standing diagnostic challenges that often delay the treatment and increased costs for patients, particularly in rural communities such as this one. We are in Honde Valley, where the digital X-ray machine procured by the government at Hauna District Hospital is transforming access to healthcare, enabling quicker diagnosis and reducing the need for patients to travel long distances in search of imaging services.
X-ray vakanditora zveshuwa chiromba ndikamuona chopu saka zvoreva kuti hakusisina baya kuzi X-ray mushonga muchina wedu wakafapo chimboenda kubhonda.
Handichamirire zvataita kudhara kuti mari sadzanononoka
Health officials say the technology is a critical tool in enhancing disease detection, particularly for TB, while improving overall efficiency in the health system.
We've managed to receive about 8 digital X-ray machines. These are technology advanced, where there is no need for us to print the film, which then cascade into a high cost for patients. And most of the X-ray machines were coming under the TB program. As they came through, the essence was TB patients are not supposed to pay for anything, including the diagnostics. We also use those GeneXpert for diagnosis of HIV, especially for newborns who are born to exposed mothers.
The machine is very accurate. It also gives you the diagnosis. It takes only about 3 minutes.
The nationwide rollout of digital X-ray technology led by the Ministry of Health and Child Care is strengthening Zimbabwe's capacity to diagnose and manage a wide range of conditions, including TB and other diseases, requiring imaging while modernizing the country's health delivery system. As implementation gathers momentum, the initiative is reinforcing government priorities under the National Development Strategy 2 and accelerating progress towards universal health coverage. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Mutasa.
Former security sector members under the Ex-Security Members for Economic Development have thrown their weight behind Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill, saying the proposed changes will ensure policy continuity and accelerate the country's development agenda.
The National Interface Meeting of Ex-Security Services Members for Economic Development and ZANU-PF National Political Commissar, Comrade Mnyaradzi Machacha, held in Gweru, saw attendees endorsing the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill, with members describing it as key to sustaining economic growth and policy consistency.
Pindai mu 2030, pindai mu extra time.
Harnessing our experience in advancing Vision 2030, we are fully behind CAP number 3 as an affiliate. So we are saying every member who is the right candidate for this affiliate, we are most welcome.
Addressing the gathering, ZANU-PF National Political Commissar, Comrade Mnyaradzi Machacha, said the amendment presents an opportunity for the country to prioritize development over political contestation.
Our duty is to safeguard the gains of independence, preserve national unity, and ensure that the country's governance arrangements continue to support stability, service delivery, and long-term development of all Zimbabweans. It is in that broader context that the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill can be understood as part of the national effort to create a governance environment that gives greater attention to delivery, continuity, and long-term development. A nation cannot progress without stability, without continuity, and orderly governance.
The ruling party says broad-based engagements with affiliates and communities will continue as momentum builds around Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill, which supporters believe is aimed at consolidating development gains and enhancing service delivery. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Gweru.
The ruling ZANU-PF Manicaland Provincial Chapter has embarked on a grassroots consolidation and engagement outreach program on the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill, specifically targeting rural and previously marginalized communities. This outreach, which was launched in Machongwe area in Chimanimani district this Friday, aims to ensure that party structures are unified while simultaneously unpacking the legal nuances of the bill.
The exercise, which is set to be taken to all the districts across Manicaland province, is set to align the ruling party structures with the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill. The ruling party's leadership also used this platform to unpack the bill, particularly Clause 3, 7, and 8, which extends the presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 years.
Mumirire mutemo rinogadzirwa nevanhu, rinochinjwa nevanhu, zvichienderana nezviri kuitika munyika kuti nyika ienderere mberi. Saka munonzwa vamwe vachiti hazvisi pamutemo, hazvisi pamutemo sei? Iyo mutemo wacho uchigadzirwa neparliament. saka pari zvino tasvika stage yekuti maconsultations akaitwa asi bill number 3 yakuchienda zvino kudare reparliament yochidzeyiwa yobva ipapo yoenda kusenate kusvika yazoitwa presidential assent.
The importance of ensuring that the 2030 agenda is understood and defended at grassroots and district level was also brought to the fore at this meeting.
Takatopedza kuno kuManicaland, takapedza nyika yese tikasapota kuti utongi hwababa Mnangagwa hunge huripo kusvika muna 2030. Saka nyaya hombe makomrades yasarira kuma MP. Ndosaka maona tauya kuno ma-MP edu tiri kuvakurudzira kuti aiwa musazoita umbimbindo maenda kuparliament uko nekuti zvatakataura isusu tinozviziva.
Soko ndiro paamendment bill number 3 ndio mazwi edu isusu seYouth League. Mukamwa taure zvebill number 3 aiwa tinosimuka.
After public hearings were conducted between late March and early April, the bill is set to be presented to the National Assembly before it proceeds to the second reading and subsequent debate. Gay Matambo, ZBC News, Chimanimani.
Now for these and other stories in detail, you can log on to our website, zbcnews.co.zw. And of course, we'd also love to hear your views and comments when you visit our X handle at ZBC News Online or our Facebook page, ZBC News Online, as well as our YouTube channel, ZBC News Online. And now for stories still to come in this bulletin. Legislators review the 2026 monetary policy. Debutants Hard Rock host Highlanders this Wednesday. That and more in sport. But for now, we take a break and we will be back shortly.
From blueprint to reality, the Joshua Mqabuko Nkomo Airport Road interchange is rising, transforming and driving the country's infrastructure modernization agenda under the Second Republic, led by His Excellency President Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. The construction of the Joshua Mqabuko Nkomo Airport Road interchange along Harare Drive marks another major milestone under NDS2. Designed as a modern grade separated interchange, the project forms part of the larger Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport Road upgrade, which is creating a seamless expressway link between Harare Central Business District and the country's premier international gateway. The project includes dual carriageways, flyovers, underpasses, bridges, drainage systems and landscape urban infrastructure aimed at improving traffic flow, reducing travel time and enhancing road safety. Once complete, the corridor will strengthen tourism, trade and investment while improving connectivity within Harare's transport network. Kilometer by kilometer, Zimbabwe is building world-class infrastructure and leaving no one and no place behind.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
We've always known what it takes to grow. But this is what it feels like to finally step inside the dream. It's that quiet moment when a room holds everything it used to be and everything it made possible. That this is actually mine feeling when the first payment hits. That pure adrenaline from a small space to an empire you rule. And when you said you'd almost sleep in your first car, we made sure you actually did. Plans may adapt, circumstances will evolve, but your growth, that's non-negotiable. Bank on growth with Stanbic Bank Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is our home, and we drive her growth.
Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Government is prioritizing the provision of safe, decent and affordable workspaces for micro, small and medium enterprises and informal traders to support economic growth, formalization and improved livelihoods. In light of this, the construction of Gaziland Workspace in Highfield, Harare is nearing completion.
The construction of workspaces that have modern amenities, including warehouses, aluminium partitions, and facilities that accommodate people with disabilities, continues, with Gaziland here in Highfield being the latest workspace the government is working on. Some of the people we spoke to who are looking forward to its official opening said the workspace will also give them room to operate in a safe environment.
mukutorwa matanho ekuti tienderere mberi tuwano pekushandira pakanaka tine matoilets tiri panotonhorera tichisimudzira budiriro yenyika.
Tikuvakirwa mafactory, tikuvakirwa migwagwa, tikuitwa zvakawanda nechikonzero chekuti vana vedu vadiki vawane pekushandira.
Mabasa akanaka iwaya ari kuitwa vari kuvaka zvizvarwa zvedu zvemuno muZimbabwe handisi nyika inovakwa nevene vayo.
Toda kutsigira Vision 2030 yauya nema SMEs ari kutikurudzira kuisa mabuildings mukati muno.
For the government, the goal is to move the traders from illegal and unsafe areas to designated and orderly spaces to enhance their performance.
This first phase is almost complete, where we are basically constructing 47 units for micro, small and medium enterprises who are operating in the light industrial sectors of the economy, leather clusters, for example, and also for some into retail.
If we provide such decent workspace, you can be assured of more money in the pockets of our people, and that will transform their lives. That's what the government wants. That's what the president is saying. When the president says we shouldn't leave anyone or any place behind, we are talking about all these people who are working so hard to put food on the table. They are creating employment. Just these SMEs, they are bringing more than 70% to the GDP of this country.
Micro, small and medium enterprises development remains a critical pillar as they contribute over 60% towards the GDP, with more facilities such as these under construction and places including Masvingo, Chikomba, Gweru and Gwanda. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe's first ever disused radioactive sources facility in Hartcliffe, Harare is nearing completion, with the building set to play a key role in combating unsafe disposal of radioactive material.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, an intergovernmental organization that seeks to promote peaceful use of nuclear energy around the world, this Tuesday gave a thumbs up to Zimbabwe's disused radioactive sources facility, which is under construction in the capital, saying that the facility will go a long way in protecting citizens from the effects of radiation.
This center now really is a significant milestone in ensuring and strengthening the radiation safety infrastructure in Zimbabwe.
The Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe Board Chairperson outlined the scope of works which will be done at the facility once it is completed.
Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe has a mandate to protect people and environment from harmful effects of radiation. So you can have radioactive waste in the industry and all over somewhere where we don't, and we are doing surveys of radiation in various parts of the country. So whenever we have radioactive waste somewhere, we then collect it and keep it in this place so that it is safe
The Deputy Chief Secretary for Finance, Administration and Human Resources in the Office of the President and Cabinet said the facility will be commissioned before year end.
We are looking at the end of this year. We would like to have completed at least the main facility. They also have other ancillary facilities.
Now, experts say that the facility, which is 96% complete, even has the capacity to assist other neighboring countries within the region with their radioactive waste management. Panashi Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
Government has called on manufacturers of lead-based paint to embrace new standards and transition to lead-free paints, which are not a threat to public health and the environment.
Lead manufactured paints remain a public health hazard and environmental concern in Zimbabwe. SEDC has managed to come up with new standards that can be used in the manufacturing of lead paints and curb the negative impacts of using lead paints in the country.
We should first verify our pigments, our raw materials that we are using, that they are safe. That's where we come in as SEDC. We can provide that service where we test the raw materials for you and give you a certificate of analysis as a verification and evidence. Not only are we limited to the raw material suppliers, we are also, even the paint manufacturers can also approach us and ensure that the whole population of Zimbabwe is safe.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Human Affairs, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Dr. Mev Swanda, says it is high time government, in collaboration with stakeholders, come up with a holistic regulatory framework to reduce the use of these harmful products in manufacturing paints.
All of us, we should come together and agree on putting regulations to regulate this thing. Right now, it's something which we are appealing to people to voluntarily manufacture the right and also the consumption. It's not only paint. A lot of cosmetics have also lead. So we should be assured that the cosmetics which we use, they've got acceptable levels of lead.
Many countries have banned the use of lead in residential paints, and the move taken by Zimbabwe to introduce these new standards is expected to go a long way in eliminating the use of lead paints in the country. ZBC News, Harare.
Thousands of primary and secondary school pupils this Tuesday returned to classrooms across Zimbabwe for the start of the winter school term, which is primarily focused on final year examination preparations. We get more from our reporters.
From early morning, schools across Harare welcomed students for the second term. Despite warm temperatures, students arrived bundled in warm layers, signaling the start of winter school. For students, the first day was about adjusting to the early start and cold mornings.
During the holiday, I was playing some golf. During my holiday work, the advice I give to my peers just to wear warm things and also to play more golf.
I promised my parents to be determined to work hard. Last after school,
School officials emphasized the need for regular attendance and ensure warmth for all students as the winter term progresses.
It's the winter season. It would be chilly. Some children might find it hard to wake up and leave the blankets, but we are saying let's all come to school. We have to learn.
Winter is shorter days. Winter is less distraction, and it allows us to make the children focus more. It's a season of focus, so it has got more. It has got its own advantages of working harder, going deeper with education.
The winter term is always the hardest of them all. However, at the end of the day, every student is determined to push forward and make the cold worth it.
In the Zimbabwean school calendar, term 1 is for new beginnings and term 3 is the final finish line. But term 2 is about courage and determination. Running from today, the 12th of May, to August, this term hits right into the heart of the winter season. It is the longest, coldest, and the most demanding stretch of the year.
winter inorwadza kuyo chikoro but tinozongoti hedu sezvo tiri kudogadzira career yakanaka tidogadzira Zimbabwe yakanaka, let's go to school no matter what, no matter kukatonhora sei ngatimuke tiendewo chikoro.
As a great philosopher Nelson Mandela says, education is the key to success. So we have no other choices, but we have to come to school.
From the rural schools where the wind whistles through open windows to the urban classrooms where the fingers are too cold to grip a pen, Term 2 tests everyone.
Winter is a bit challenging because, you know, as Form 4s, it is the highest point for us to study as we are preparing for our mid-year exams as well as our final exams.
Winter is the worst term of the year because we find it difficult kugeza.
Situation here winter is a bit challenging because waking up at midnight reading, you can easily fall asleep in your sheets.
By the time the August sun begins to warm the earth, those who survived Term 2 are ready for anything. They have not just learnt their school subjects, but they've also learnt how to endure the winter blues.
After the April break, classrooms are alive with chatter. For grade 7 pupils, it is a chance for them to reset their high school goals.
Number 1, grade 7, 6 units. I want to pass and get higher marks.
I want to pass my examination. Then when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer.
Pass at this term and do the best that I can. And then I school as right. But I'm fully scholar
You can feel the energy in the air. Teachers are already in class. They are already setting the tone for the term.
When you're writing a speech, it is formal and you are addressing an audience, is it? Yes. Right. This is a quick revision, is it? Yes. So how do we define socialization?
Secondary school pupils are excited to be back in class, learning more about the heritage-based education curriculum, which has helped them to be creative and innovative.
Back in the day, teachers used to do all the jobs, but now students are given a chance to actually express what they're learning themselves. What the teachers are actually there now is to actually explain what you do. As for the projects, we are now given a chance to actually think outside the box.
The HBC curriculum is way better than the color because you would find that the color would be done, the same solution would be done by the whole class. It helps us a lot because we get to generate our own ideas without using the internet.
Parents are hopeful for a productive and successful term. The first day is always a reset. If today's energy is anything to go by, the second term is off to a great start.
It is a new day for everyone here at Mayeche Secondary School in Matobo district of Matabeleland South. This school was identified as an Independence Legacy project for the 46th National Independence celebrations that were held here in Mapisa in Matobo district. Now, the students are coming into a new environment altogether. From just 2 classroom blocks, it is now has 8 classroom blocks with 2 computer and science laboratories. Now, as students try to acclimatize to the new environment, the wishes of government, the parents and the teachers is that there is an improvement in terms of results and enrollment that befits a modern high school.
I believe it is pass away. This is participants in practical, live practicals.
Mayeche Secondary School is one of the 40 schools identified in Matabeleland Southwest. Science and computer laboratories were constructed as Independence Legacy projects to support the STEM program.
Reports there on schools opening from across the whole of Zimbabwe. Regional cooperation in disaster risk reduction remains critical in Southern Africa, with SADC member states pushing for stronger preparedness and response systems.
The meeting of Southern African Development Community, SADC ministers responsible for disaster risk management, enters Day 2 in Masvingo province with senior officials and directors from member states deliberating on regional cooperation in disaster preparedness and response. The delegates who have been holding closed-door meetings since Monday have come up with governance and operational instruments to be tabled before ministers this Wednesday.
We have established a multi-hazard early warning system. So this document highlights from the point of preparedness to response.
SADC senior officials say collaboration among member states remains key in enhancing disaster preparedness and response capacity in the region.
We've been here discussing the collaborations and also how best we can respond to disasters which are affecting SADC countries, but also the structure which we have established where all the member states, SADC member states, they are part of, how we can actually enhance the capacity of that one.
Zimbabwe says hosting the meeting presents an opportunity for member states to share experiences and collaborate in coming up with ideas on disaster risk management.
We are getting a lot of information. We are exchanging best practices with all the countries that have gathered here in Zimbabwe.
SADC countries continue to experience disasters such as floods, droughts and cyclones, with the meeting expected to strengthen disaster preparedness and coordinated response mechanisms. Meanwhile, all is set for the official opening of the meeting to be attended by ministers responsible for disaster risk management from the region. May Smatina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
The European Union has intensified efforts to finance Zimbabwe's biodiversity and climate resilience programs through the Nature Africa program.
Government has completed plans aimed at tapping into the $60 million Nature Africa Fund run by the European Union, aimed at preserving biodiversity in the major transfrontier parks in Southern Africa and also other climate mitigation projects. This emerged when the European Union ambassador to Zimbabwe, Mrs. Katrin Hegman, paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Mrs. Evelyn Lovu, and said they are also looking to cooperate in areas of renewable energy.
We have a $60 million program where we're supporting the various transfrontier regions, for example, between Zimbabwe and Mozambique in the area of Gonareju. And we're looking at sort of the landscape approach where we're supporting both the population and being able to support the biodiversity that's in their region, while at the same time profiting from the tourism that's generated from this biodiversity.
Minister Love said that the European Union has emerged as a reliable partner to work with in several areas of cooperation in wildlife, climate and environmental preservation.
We have done extremely well as government because we have produced our national plan under NDS 2. We have also produced two of our plans which we've submitted to the United Nations for financing, and those two plans are facilitating us to access the funds.
Bilateral ties between the European Union and Zimbabwe continue to strengthen, which culminated into the inaugural Zimbabwe-EU Business Forum, which was held last year, and representatives from several EU member countries pledged to invest in several sectors of the economy, which include mining, agriculture and renewable energy. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Nurses have been celebrated as the backbone of the healthcare system, providing critical care and support to patients each day. This comes on a day stakeholders gathered in Harare to commemorate International Nurses Day with calls for continued investment in the nursing profession.
The annual commemorations held in Harare this Tuesday
seek to recognize the compassion and dedication demonstrated by nurses in hospitals, clinics, and communities across the country. Beyond the uniforms lies a profession built on sacrifice, resilience, and compassion, with nurses continuing to stand at the center of patient care and community well-being.
I really appreciate this International Nurses Day. I appreciate it was well organized, and I'm proud to be a nurse of Zimbabwe.
Ndafara nebasa ririkuitwa nemanesi mabatirwo atakaita kubva zuro kusvika izvezvi ndiri kutobuda kuona mwana wangu akaita accident.
As nurses and patients reflected on the significance of the day, calls also emerged for continued support and recognition of the profession. Government is cognizant of nurses' critical role in transforming healthcare delivery.
We have initiated to commemorate Day Manesi to show the importance of being a nurse. Without a nurse, there is no healthcare. We can have a doctor, but without a nurse, there is no completion of a patient care, total patient care, than to say.
International Nurses Day is commemorated globally on the 12th of May to honor contribution nurses make towards healthcare delivery and community well-being, while also recognizing the legacy of modern nursing pioneer Florence Nightingale.
I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Nursing Ethics and to uphold the integrity of the profession.
And the main news takes a break, and we'll be back after these commercials.
Torn, stolen, burned in a house fire, damaged by rain, forged by fraudsters. If you own property in Zimbabwe, these are risks you simply cannot afford to ignore. But what if there was a better way?
The government of Zimbabwe has introduced a groundbreaking new process, title deed validation and securitization, to give property owners the protection they deserve. The new securitized title deed is engineered with world-class protection features, including microtext, a holographic Zimbabwe bird, guilloche patterns, UV security elements, a watermark, a unique serial number, and a QR code linked to the National Digital Registry.
Through Statutory Instrument 76 of 2025, the government has established a comprehensive legal framework to support the validation and securitization of title deeds, enhancing security, streamlining verification, and safeguarding the integrity of property records across the country. With these multiple layers of protection, verification becomes faster, safer, and more reliable. The validation and securitization program is designed to protect homeowners, restore confidence in property records, and build a more secure land administration system for all Zimbabweans.
To find out more about the process, contact your conveyancer or call the Deeds National Call Center on 086 77 212 440. That's 086 77 212 440. This message is brought to you by the Department of Deeds, Companies and Intellectual Property.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
Hundreds of battles fought across the continent by the princes of Europe. Astonishing! But history doesn't care who almost won. It only remembers the name on the trophy. One night to decide it all on the ultimate stage, 30th of May. Stay connected and watch DSTV to catch the UEFA Champions League final. It's on.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news, and now in business news, the 2026 monetary policy statement came under scrutiny during this Tuesday's National Assembly session in Mount Hampton.
Issues of national interest dominated this Tuesday's session of the National Assembly here in Mount Hampton. In response to the monetary policy statement by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, a report by the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion was laid before Parliament.
The 2026 monetary policy was widely regarded as a credibility instrument, with the stakeholders agreeing that its primary economic function is to safeguard the ongoing disinflation process, defend exchange rate stability, and reinforce the narrative of policy consistency long enough to reset expectations. This perspective aligns with the national goal of achieving the single-digit inflation, a key milestone under Vision 2030.
Legislators took time to review the report.
The introduction of the upgraded ZIG notes has further consolidated our sovereign currency and enhanced convenience in everyday trade for the ordinary citizen. Controlling inflation and stabilizing the exchange rate remain the important priorities to the people of Zimbabwe to safeguard their purchasing power.
If the volume of transaction in local currency is increasing, it means money supply growth is being evident. But the RBZ governor gave a precautionary measure to say they will continue aligning money supply growth with the real economic activity. And to this end, there is a shift from a strictly tight monetary policy stance to a prudent stance.
It is therefore economic prudent for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to gradually recalibrate interest rates in line with the declining inflation so that industry can access affordable finance for retooling, innovation, and value addition.
Meanwhile, the Agricultural Marketing Authority has been employed to assist tobacco and cotton farmers in order for them to realize returns on their products. Festus Mkunguru says ZBC News, Harare.
Now, fireworks are expected at Chawanda Stadium tomorrow. That's and more in sports news after this break.
Hundreds of battles fought across the continent by the princes of Europe. Astonishing! But history doesn't care who almost won. It only remembers the name on the trophy.
Where does football go from here?
One night to decide it all on the ultimate stage. 30th of May. Stay connected and watch DSTV to catch the UEFA Champions League final. It's on.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
Drug and substance abuse leads to serious health problems, financial troubles,
accidents, injuries, relationship issues, and addiction,
which can be very difficult to overcome. Above all, Drug and substance abuse is a crime.
Are you struggling with drug and substance abuse?
Do you know someone who is struggling with drug and substance abuse-related addiction?
Get assistance. Call now on the Drug and Substance Abuse Unit toll-free number
0801 4424.
For all mental health challenges, please call toll-free number 2024.
Don't let drugs control your life. Seek help and start your journey to recovery today.
And now in sports news, fireworks are expected at Shawanda Stadium in Kwekwe this Wednesday as newcomers Hard Rock host Highlanders in a high-profile Premier Soccer League encounter.
After narrowly edging low-veiled side Triangle at the weekend, Boso make the short trip to Kwekwe this Wednesday in search of consecutive victories. Standing their way are debutants Hard Rock, who have enjoyed an impressive start to life in the top flight and currently sit second on the Premier Soccer League table. Whether they can get past their former coach is a question that will only be answered after 90 minutes. Highlanders have recently been making headlines for the wrong reasons, with players embarking on strikes, and head coach Benjamin Mwarwari admits it has been a difficult period for the club.
We all know that we need to win games, and we are training. When we are training, we're training to get better and get better, and hopefully the boys, they are ready to do that. We have a game on Wednesday against Hard Rock, so hopefully they will give it a best shot.
Mwarwari is however banking on consistency as Boso look to build momentum.
We have to keep the momentum, you know. So far this season we have won like head-to-back games, so this is our aim. We know that they are on the top of the local, playing against the top team. Always tricky.
Hard Rock coach Kelvin Kayendu is banking on his previous stint with Highlanders to give his side an edge.
To me, it's a game. It's a fixture that has been lined up for us. I'm now Hard Rock coach. In terms of our preparation, I think we only have Oriri that had injury during the week. Otherwise, everybody is available for selection.
Other fixtures, Agama host defending champions Scotland at Wadzanai, while local leaders Cape United clash with Mose at Tufaro. Ngezi Platinum Stars take on T1 at Baobab, while ZPC Kariba face FC Platinum at Nyamonga. Manika Diamonds have unfinished business with FC Hunters at Sakuva, while Chicken in Beto Simba Bora at Papa Fields. Triangle host Ibulawa Chiefs at Gibo. Between Rentals and Dynamo set for Thursday rounds off the matchday 12 program. Meanwhile, the Premier Soccer League has received a major commercial boost after securing a partnership with betting company Lucky Bets for the Man of the Match Awards sponsorship. The agreement signed this Tuesday will run until the end of the current Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season. Under the partnership, the outstanding player at every league match will walk away with a $200 United States cash prize in a move aimed at rewarding excellence and increasing competitiveness in the domestic top flight league. Mthokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
After years of hard work and consistency, Scotland midfielder Abubakar Moffat has finally earned his Senior Warriors call-up after being named in Zimbabwe's squad for the Unity Cup set for England at the end of this month.
The talented central midfielder was named in the Warriors' expanded professional squad for the Africa Cup of Nations, but an injury denied him the opportunity to make the final travelling team. Fate has, however, finally smiled on the former Spain-based midfielder, whose steady rise since returning to Zimbabwe last year has now been rewarded with a place in the national setup. Moffat first caught the eye during an impressive stint with Moss after arriving from Spain midway through last season, before switching to Scotland, who has become one of the club's standout performers. The midfielder has played every Castle Lager Premier Soccer League match for the defending champions this season, producing commanding displays in the heart of midfield and emerging as one of the most consistent players in the domestic game. His inclusion in the Warriors squad has widely been welcomed by football analysts who believe the call-up is fully deserved.
A national team is always a trick assignment for almost every player, but I mean Moffat is now a senior player. Looking at his age, I think he can adjust. He has managed to adjust at Scotland with all the stars that are around him. I think he can just adjust at Scotland. He just needs to be calm, to be himself, and just play the football that he has been playing.
Meanwhile, Sports Leaders Institute Zimbabwe has commended the Zimbabwe Football Association for expanding the football constituency.
What it says is our leadership is well grounded, it's also very futuristic, and they are also able to attract corporate sponsorship. Most of the countries that have done so well in Africa have looked at their talent and that has been in the diaspora. And now, us going to England, there are so many Zimbabweans that are domiciled there, and it's very important that they also come back.
The Unity Cup tournament set for England is set to provide interim Warriors coach Kaitano Tembo with an opportunity to fine-tune combinations ahead of upcoming competitive assignments. The tournament featuring Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Jamaica and India kicks off on the 26th of this month. Lawrence Truseda, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's take a look at the weather report.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and thank you for joining us in today's edition of the Weather Update. This morning, a cool southwesterly push brought us very cold temperatures in Matobo with 4 degrees Celsius, Gwanda with 7 degrees Celsius, Kezi and Lupane with 8, and Gweru in the cold category as well with 9 degrees Celsius. This was accompanied by slight ground frost in Matobos and surrounding areas. Though mostly clear skies persisted over much of the country, with a bit of scattered cloud in areas to the northeastern parts of the country. By afternoon, it was warm in all areas with that cloud drifting further east. For minimum temperatures tonight, we are expecting it to be milder in areas along the Zambezi Valley and in the Sawe Valley as well, although a bit cooler in the central parts of the country, Bulawayo and Lupane with 13 degrees Celsius, Gweru and Gokwe with 14 degrees Celsius, and Harare with 15 degrees Celsius. Should be a bit warmer in Kariba with 21 degrees Celsius. For maximum temperatures tomorrow, it should be bright and sunny and warm for much of the country, although a bit of cloud in Mutare, Mashingo, and Gweru. It should be very warm in Chirezi with a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. Now for a detailed forecast, a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 30 for Bulawayo with mostly sunny skies, though our temperatures should be dropping by Friday. In Matobo, similar, cool in the morning, becoming warm by afternoon. In Gwanda, it should be warm daytime temperatures for tomorrow, although becoming much cooler on Friday. In Gweru, a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 29 with partly cloudy skies, with our temperatures dropping from Sunday. In Mashingo, should be mild in the morning, becoming warm by afternoon, and these conditions should persist for much of this week. In Mutare, should be mild in the morning as well, becoming warm by afternoon, though our minimum temperatures dropping into the cool category from Friday. In Nyanga, cold days ahead, especially from Thursday, with a minimum of 8 and a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius, and into early next week as well. In Marondera, should be cool in the morning, becoming warm in the afternoon, with mostly sunny skies and a breeze time and time again. In Harare, minimum of 15 and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. In Kadoma, should be mild in the morning, becoming warm by afternoon with a bit of cloud. In Chinhoyi, should be warm daytime conditions for much of the forecast period. In Victoria Falls as well, should be warm, maximum of 31 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. In Lupane, should be warm daytime conditions for much of the forecast period. In Bindura, mild in the morning, becoming warm by afternoon with a bit of cloud. In Kariba, minimum of 20 and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. These conditions should persist for much of the week. This has been our weather forecast and report. Thank you for tuning in, and it's back to the main desk.
From the Met Department. Now, do remember, for more stories, you can log on to our website, zbcnews.co.zw. You can visit our X handle at ZBC News Online, or our Facebook page, ZBC News Online, as well as our YouTube channel, ZBC News Online. And for the stories that made the headlines tonight. Government assures the nation of food security with a surplus of over 900,000 tons of grain projected. Legislators review the 2026 monetary policy. Debutants Hard Rock FC host Highlanders in high-stakes Kwekwe clash tomorrow. Well, and that's all we had for you for tonight. My name is Dora Ngube. Nobu Maungwa was on the sign language desk, and from the rest of the crew behind the scenes, pleasant viewing.